just your thoughts on how the first scrimmage went, and obviously nice to score a couple there, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's always nice getting back with the guys and playing against each other. And, I think at this time in camp, you just got to make sure you bring your work ethic and, play simple. And obviously me, Petey, and Millsy have some good chemistry. So, and we communicate well. So it went well today.
And JT, just building off what Brock said about the chemistry, how important will that be early on in the season here with such a short camp and games getting underway pretty quick?
Yeah, it's really important. Like Brock said, we spent a lot of time together last year. I think it's good to, be skating together again right now. And, it's we already know a lot about each other. We don't have to find that in camp like we had to last year. I think it's, we're all more mature players than we were the year before. And I think that's only going to be more helpful to our, advantage playing against other, hard to play against lines. So it's a good test out there. It's good to get in some game action, that's for sure.
Next up is Ian McIntyre.
Hey guys, following on that theme, JT, continuity is probably important all the time. If you're playing with the regular guys, is it more important under these circumstances? Do you think you, as a line, you could have an advantage without any exhibition games and such a short run up to the season over some other groups that are still trying to get used to each other?
Yeah, no doubt. There's like I said, there's a lot of guys and a lot of line combinations that are, still going to happen. There's some spots to be won in camp, so nothing's set. But if we, we're playing together now, if it sticks like that, I think it's definitely an advantage going into the season. I'm sure there's other lines on other teams that have played together before too. So we're not really, we're worried about just getting better as a unit and, try to, play hard 200 feet and, make work for our opportunities and, try not to cheat for them. And
Brock, you're used to us micro-analyzing everything. So it was only a scrimmage, but to get a couple of goals after the way you finished last season, confidence boost. You feel good coming into this camp with your shot and your game?
Yeah. Last year was a good learning experience. Not every year is going to go great. And, just to be in the spot as a team where we were in the playoffs, it was a great learning experience for us young guys. And, I think it made us that more excited to come back this year because I think we know we can take that next step. And, I think just going in the off season, you obviously have to work hard and be prepared for a short camp. And, I feel ready.
Next up is Jeff Patterson.
Hey, Brock, you're going to play wherever the coach puts you. And obviously you spent a fair bit of time last season, primarily the first half of last year with JT and Elias. And then you started to get moved around a little bit. How badly do you want to be in that position on that right side with those guys to bring out the best in you?
Yeah, of course I want to be there with Millsy and Petey. And, like I said, it was a learning experience playing with other guys and other lines. And, I think it will help me definitely this year. And I think it pushed me to work harder in the off season. So, I think, like I said earlier, we have great chemistry and, we read each other well and we communicate well. So obviously I'd like to play with those two.
And JT, no exhibition games. You guys sort of went through this going into the bubble last year, but your power play was such a weapon for the hockey club last season. Like, what about getting the power play up and running without the benefit of exhibition games? I know you guys will do some special teams work, but you can't really replicate all of that in practice. How confident are you that you'll be able to sort of pick up where you left off without the benefit of exhibition games?
Pretty comfortable, really. I was talking with Quinn, we were in the same skating group, and, I feel like now we can go into a season just kind of like in the playoffs, it was becoming pretty seamless. I think that we just kind of set up in practice and set up in the game, and we just knew where everyone was going to be, and we had our plays and tendencies, and I think it's good that we can go into this season just kind of expecting that. Obviously, it's going to take some reps in practice to get our feet under us a little bit, but I think that, guys are, know where they're going to be and be on the ice, and where, if the other team presents, a certain system against us, I think we're really good at adapting. So I think we just have a high comfort level, and We really want to push ourselves to be, the top unit in the league. I think we were close all year last year. But I think we have a lot of push and drive and commitment to being one of the best power plays in the league.
Next up is Thomas Drance.
Brock, you got the pass on your breakaway goal in the scrimmage from Nate. Did you know him as a Minnesota guy prior to him being acquired by the Canucks? And what did you see from your first opportunity to play with him in, a game-like environment?
Yeah, I know Schmidt pretty well. I know Millsy probably will chirp me for this, but we played together in the beauty league or whatever. So I've known him for the past couple seasons, couple summers. But he's such a great guy, and he's a really good hockey player out there, and he sees the ice well and works hard. So he's going to be huge for our team this year.
And JT, in a similar vein, with the way that your line, when Brock's on it, especially plays some of the passing, what does another puck mover on the roster of Schmidt's caliber sort of do to potentially help you guys? Do you think it will? Does it change anything from your perspective as attacking players?
Well, I think when you think of, how we evaluate our games, and I've talked a lot with Brock and Petey, and, it's not necessarily getting on the score sheet, but I think it's, being a threat every time you're on the ice and, being a threat on the opposing team's end, I think is, if you're spending a lot of time there, you're doing a lot of good things. And, on your question, I think having a guy like Schmidt, who the way he skates and the way he sees the ice, it's having like another forward out there. There's a lot of movement, a lot of skill. And I think when we get that, the high urgency and high compete and our legs are working, I think it just adds another threat. And, I thought, I played against Schmidt a long time. I didn't realize, how skilled he really was. And, he's making some really nice plays. We were in the same group prior to camp and got to see him, spend some time with him the last couple of weeks. So it's just adding more threats, I think, on the ice at once, and that's only going to help.
Next up is Ben Kuzma.
Hey, gents, a question for both of you about your line mate. I know there was a curiosity about the 10 playoff newbies and how everybody would sort of function in the postseason. What did you make of Petey's ability to handle the matchups, the physical attention, and finish second in club scoring in the postseason? What do you think that meant for him? And what's it going to mean for him going into this shortened season?
Just kind of knowing Petey over the years, I think that's when he plays his best hockey. He's really competitive, and he likes that challenge as a player, and he wants to be one of those top players in the league. So I think it only pushes him to work harder and be better, and for all of us to get that experience, especially him, I think it's going to definitely help him this season and moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. We talked about it in the playoffs, and I think you guys were asking me about his ability to adapt. And I think that, like guys like myself, it's taken longer to become the player I want to be in the playoffs. And I think it comes naturally. It comes easier to some people to be their normal self in the playoffs. And, sometimes it takes a long time. So I think for him, he has times where he just completely takes over the game, and even in the playoffs. And he's, like he said, he really competes to be with the best player on the ice. And, a lot of the time he is. So he's a big part of our team, and I'm excited to obviously see just another year under his belt to see him in, another playoff format.
Next up is Jim Morris.
Hello, JT. Question for you. Looking forward to when the season starts, you're going to find yourself in situations where you're playing either back-to-back or even the same team 3 times in a row. Do you like that, or is it going to be different? Is it going to be harder? Do you prefer this format? Do you like before playing different teams or every different times?
Yeah, I'd rather a regular season and traveling and going to cities and having dinner with my teammates. That would be way better. But it's going to be like a bunch of little series, probably. You're playing 2 to 3 to 4 times in a row. I play Montreal like 5 or 6 times in the first dozen games or whatever. So it's going to be weird, that's for sure. But there's going to be a lot of animosity, and it's probably going to be times where you're sick of playing those guys. But so I don't have the right answer. I've never done anything like this. So, but I guess kind of like the playoffs, where you just got to get used to, if you got a 3-game stint against the team, you got to try to take 2 of those games. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I think that's probably going to be how it is.
Brock, maybe when you face the same team night after night, what kind of challenge is it to take, does it make for a person like you to try to get yourself open, to try to, get yourself in the right positions?
Yeah, just kind of thinking what Millsy said. And it's kind of like college hockey again for me personally. You go play these teams 2-3 times in a row, and you got to learn from game to game. You watch film, and you got to adjust to what you didn't do right in the game before, and make sure you don't make those mistakes again. So I think it'll be good for our team. We always love challenges, and I think we just have to adapt and be ready to go.
And with the final question for this group is Gemma Karsten Smith.
Hi, guys. Obviously, you're both sports fans. Is there anything that the NHL or you guys in particular can learn from how other teams and other athletes have returned to play this weird time?
I'm in trouble here.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I'm sorry. Is that better?
No.
No, you can't hear me at all, can you?
Oh, geez. I haven't paid attention.
No, I haven't really paid attention.
I haven't paid attention to any of the other.
I don't watch TV, so I honestly couldn't tell you. Sorry.
Sorry.